Hey, good morning, kids. I've got another lesson for you. This is homework number 375, page 375. This is for period C. Period A, you already learned this, but I think you should watch this video anyway because it's more explanation as you do the homework. How about the homework? How do you pass it in? I don't know. We'll figure that out. We're just in the early stages of this. So let's take a look at page 375 homework. Here we go. All right, so you got 1 through 19 odd. It's the page is posted on the GC, and that's what we just said. So stay tuned for these videos or messages where I'll start posting worksheets every day. All right, so the first few problems of the homework are going to ask us to evaluate. Hang on, I got an idea. We'll just look at this line by line. Evaluate f of -2 for that polynomial. We have certainly done this before. It's just plug -2 in for the x. So replace each x with -2. So there it is. So 3 times -2 cubed, and so on down the line. This is nothing new. Let's see how to do that. And you can follow this along. You have the ability to pause it and rewind and all that. So you get to that. Yada, 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 and we get -44, or as my dad would have said, 44. All right, so f of -2 is 44. We evaluate it. All right, so why bring this up if we already know how to do it? You got another way to do it. You're going to love this. We're going to use synthetic division. So take the coefficients, bring them down, 3, -1, 6, -4. And we'll use this exact number. We'll use the actual -2, put it in the box, and synthetically divide. Bring down the 3, multiply. -2 times 3 is -6. Add -7. -2 times -7 is 14. Add 20. -2 times 20, -40. Add -44. So I think that's a quicker and easier way to evaluate a polynomial. There's certainly nothing wrong with plugging it in. You've done that for a while now, but synthetic makes it a little easier. So the first few problems in the homework, I don't know, maybe 1 through 7 are doing that. I think we have another one. Yeah, here's another one. This one says, find P of 5 for that polynomial. You see that okay? I hope so. I don't know if you look at this on your phone or your computer, but you guys can figure it out. So you can just plug in that 5, or do it synthetically. Guess which way we're going to do it? Yes, synthetically. So write down the coefficients. We've got -1, -2. We need an ox. We need to skip a space, 0. Put the 0 in. Don't just leave a space, but put the 0. And then 8. And here we go. We use the actual 5. Bring down -1. And there we go. We play it through. I think we get -167. So P of 5 is -167. If we had plugged 5 in here and here and here, that's what we get. All right, so that's how you do problems 1, 3, 5, and 7 on page 375. Any questions? Good. Hold on to them for about 3 weeks. You can ask them then. Oh, I'm just kidding. Then problems 9 through 15. 9 through 15, okay. It says, use the factor theorem to determine if the given binomial is a factor of the given polynomial. Or a lot of words. What they're going to say is they'll give you a polynomial. Here's an example. P of x equals x squared minus 5x plus 6. Is this given factor? They'll give you a factor, x minus 2. Is it a factor? To be a factor means you've got to divide it evenly. Is 8 a factor of 24? Yeah, because 24 divided by 8 comes out an integer. Is 7 a factor of 24? No, it doesn't come out even. Is x minus 2 a factor of this? Well, does it divide in evenly? We could long divide it to find out, or we could just actually factor. That's what factor means. And it does factor this way. So yes, x minus 2 is a factor, because x minus 2 times that is that. Or we could have done it by synthetic division. Watch this. 1, -5, 6. And we're going to use now the 2, the opposite, divided by the coefficient. And as you play that out, it comes out 0. If it comes out 0, this is called the remainder theorem. If it comes out 0, yes, x minus 2 is a factor of that expression. You say, well, I already knew that because we knew how to factor that. Yeah, but you don't know how to factor this one. All right, so the question here is x plus 3 a factor of this polynomial? Because you don't know how to factor that. Right? If I asked you to factor this, you would know not what to do. Neither would I. But let's use the synthetic division. So use a negative 3, bring down the 2, play it out. We get negative 16. Not even close. It's got to be 0. So our answer is no. X plus 3 is not a factor of that. What is a factor of that? I don't know. We're going to teach you how to determine that in another few days. So for those problems, you just synthetically divide. If you get a 0, it's yes, it's a factor, like on the last one. If you don't get 0, no, it's not a factor. How do you like my watch, by the way? It's not an Apple Watch. It's like a Casio, $24.99 at Kohl's. Look at that. Genuine rubber band. I spare no expense. All right, how about this one? Is z plus 2i, is that a factor of this? All right, well, the z plus 2i is a little different, but do what you know. If z plus 2i is a possible factor, we use the opposite. Negative 2i divided by coefficient 1. So negative 2i goes in the little box. And then bring down 1. Well, let's list the coefficients. 1, 1, 4, 4. Okay, bring down 1. Negative 2i times 1 is negative 2i. Add them up. Well, they're not like terms, so you have to write 1 minus 2i. Then multiply negative 2i times 1. Negative 2i times 1 is negative 2i. Negative 2i times negative 2i is 4i squared. So what's that? Negative 2i plus 4i squared, that's really negative 4, right? So 4 plus negative 4 cancel, just get negative 2i. Then negative 2i times negative 2i is plus 4i squared. Again, that's really a negative 4, which cancels with the 4. You get a 0, a big yes. So that says z plus 2i is a factor. Okay? I'm moving along quickly, but again, you can pause and rewind. All right. So that's how you do problems, 9 through 15. To tell it's a factor, synthetically divide, look for the 0 at the end. Last type of problem. In period A, this is a part you actually haven't seen yet. So let's take a good look at this period A as well as C. All right, so this one says, for problems 17 and 19, a root is given. Solve the equation, which means find the other roots. So in this problem, we have 2x cubed plus 9x squared plus 7x minus 6 equals 0. And a root is given x equals negative 2, which means x plus 2 is a factor. But anyway, how do you find the other roots? Let's synthetically divide to kind of break this down. So put a negative 2 in front and go through your process. There it is. It'll give you a second to get that. We were expecting 0. Yeah, we were guaranteed 0 because it says that's a root. So we know that has to be 0. But what are we left with now? We're left with 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. Right? We start with x cubed, so we go down by 1 exponent. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. They want you to solve by this. You say, I know how to solve that. You can use a quadratic formula. You could complete the square if you want to torture yourself. It's actually factorable. I don't know what that factors. It would do well. You can do that on your own. But if you use quadratic formula, you get all this, and you get that. You get negative 5. You can see that plus or minus 7 over 4. So we're not quite done yet. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2 over 4, which is 1/2. Yeah. Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12 over 4 is negative 3. So I think this would have factored into, oh boy, 2x minus 1 and x plus 3. Let's see. Yes, that's correct. So if you had factored it, then you get your roots positive 1/2 and negative 3. So you can do it that way. You can do it by quadratic formula. So again, these last two problems, they give you one root. You run it through the synthetic machine. Boom, boom, boom. You get now a quadratic, and you know how to solve any quadratic. Yes, you do. You can always use quadratic formula if you lucky factor. You say, well, what if this turned into not a quadratic, like a third degree? Well, then we're stuck until we can show you next week. So I think that's the end. That's the end of our episode. Again, I will find an opportunity to give you questions through Zoom. Still working that out. Let's kind of take it slow and make sure we're all caught up through page 375. Okay, kids, stay safe, stay healthy. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.